He's just very blasé, hooray. You're like, whoop-de-fucking-do. Hi, I'm Alan.
And I'm Russell.
And this is Popculture Pontification.
The show where we talk about a bunch of stuff to fill in the time before we talk about Captain America Civil War.
Yes, which is going to be... I'm planning to release it 2 days after this comes out. So this comes out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And the spoiler cast, quotation marks, for Captain America Civil War will come out on Wednesday.
Right.
Sorry, Thursday.
Yeah.
I fucked it up already, Russell.
Do you want to start the recording?
No. See, unlike some people, I don't hide my failings. I embrace them and edit them out later on.
And somehow we've struggled through to 28 episodes?
28. This is the 28th episode, yes.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
The most echoey one so far.
I'm so upset because for those not paying attention, I just recently moved.
Really? You just moved? I had no idea.
Moved. No, it's never been brought up before. And we're recording this from the new house, which is been dubbed the Quiet House because it is big and quiet and sound carries. And Russell went to the bathroom earlier and I heard everything. And I was good 20 meters away.
Sadly, the recording was not running at that time.
No, it was very disappointing.
That was just for Alan.
There was audio. There was an audio component to your bathroom.
Well, I hope there wasn't a visual component.
No, there was it was an audible audio component.
Yeah.
There was more than just water hitting water.
You sure you don't want to start recording?
No, I'm so happy with this already.
Okay.
Let's just go. So yes, if this is incredibly echoey, I apologize. All of my furniture is in this house, but it is much bigger than my other house. So there is much echoey.
We need some tapestries or something. Can you get some tapestries?
I mean, make me a tapestry and I'll hang it up.
All right. My job for next week.
Your job, yep, that's your job next week.
How do you make a tapestry? Is that weaving?
It is weaving, I believe.
Okay.
Well, it's basically like a rug on the wall.
Yeah.
You know, so however you make a rug, that's how you make a tapestry. Oh. But yes, so I've decided to get a little bit more conscientious, which I'm pretty sure is not how that word is pronounced. Conscientious?
A
little bit more mindful on how I upload stuff and how we release things. Because up until this point, all I've ever really had to worry about is getting the podcast edited by usually Saturday or so.
Yeah.
I aim for, so you can do what you have to do for it, and then just put it live at about 5:30 on a Tuesday.
Pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward, easy as pie, except for when I'm lazy and I don't edit until like Monday night. Or some of very rare occasions, Tuesday afternoon.
There you go, Russell. It's midday on a Tuesday and you're at work until the podcast is released. You can write the blog post now.
Well done. I expect it to be grammatically correct and uploaded before I put it live.
Yeah.
No, but now I've got the spoiler cast this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel we should do more of those because I enjoy the spoiler casts. I enjoy like spending some time and digging down on a movie.
Well, they need to start releasing better movies. Or I just need to go and see more of them.
Yes. Unfortunately, you weren't here for Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Because that would have been a fun spoiler cast we would have done. But I feel you though. I feel like we can't do it for like any Tom, Dick, and Harry movie that comes along.
Yeah.
Which is the name of a movie, I believe.
Tom, Dick, and Harry, the movie.
Well, it's not called The Movie. I believe it's called Tom, Dick, and Harry. But yeah, we should do it for every movie that comes along. But yeah, I think we should do it. We should do a couple more of them.
All right. Well, the next good movie that you see.
The next thing that sort of fits in our wheelhouse would probably be X-Men Apocalypse.
When's that?
I don't know. It's a couple of weeks or a month or two.
Jesus.
Fucking no. It's coming out. There's trailers.
I handle superheroes every fortnight.
From the same universe of that. Well, not same business.
Fox universe?
No, I'm speaking Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Same Marvel universe. But yes. But now I've got that. And I also have the Final Fantasy Let's Plays to upload and release as well. and you can't just do them willy-nilly, because I released episode 1 of the Let's Play about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then I kept forgetting to release the next one, even though it was uploaded and in the chamber, ready to fire.
Yeah.
I kept forgetting to do it until 2 days ago is when I released number 2. And it was better received than the first one.
You got actual feedback.
I got feedback, motherfucker.
Comments.
That's something the podcast has never gotten. Yeah. I got comments on YouTube, and they weren't hateful comments.
We need to really switch our focus to just you playing 30-year-old Nintendo games.
We're going to really focus it.
Yeah.
Refocus. I'm going to work our business strategy around that. But no, so I've decided that my plan is, this is what I'm shooting for, is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday release of the Let's Plays. And then Tuesday is for podcast.
Yeah.
And then ideally we'd find something for Thursday on a more regular basis. Mm-hmm. So then we got something coming out every day of the week. And that's how you get them coming back for more, Russell, is when you've got like constant content.
Well, I hope you're not expecting me to do all this extra
I'm expecting you to do something.
Prepare to be disappointed.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It could be you. I mean, we could find something else to go up on Thursdays.
Well, how about we workshop it later?
Yeah, currently you're living the high life.
Yeah.
Where I edit the audio and make the videos and upload everything.
Yeah.
And you just sit back and let that money roll in.
Yeah, the money.
The money, yeah. All of the money.
Still waiting on the money.
Well, it's foreign banks.
Right, yeah.
Various accounts that need to
making
be
the money
paperwork. Yeah, that's it.
Anyway, should we talk about some pop culture?
We can. Well, that was moderately. That was as pop culture related as it could be, because that was directly related to Popculture Pontification.
I don't think Popculture Pontification counts as pop culture.
I feel it can.
It has to be popular.
Well, don't. Russell, I have got 165 views on my YouTube video.
Wow.
So thank you very much.
Imagine if you introduced the video with like a shot of a cute girl's butt.
That's true. Maybe I should ask my girlfriend.
Infinite views.
Infinite views.
Yeah.
If such a thing was possible. It is not possible. Well, very well then. If you want to talk about other stuff, we're taking care of a bit of business here.
I do. We got 2 freaking podcasts to record.
That's true, we do. But this is me just buying time. Because once we hit an hour, this podcast is fucking done.
Yeah.
And then we can move on to the next one.
Well, the early access game Off-World Trading Company got released this week on Steam.
I've never heard of it, but it sounds so boring.
It's a real-time strategy game created by Soren Johnson, who's the lead designer on Civilization 4.
Not Civ 5 though.
No.
Because we all know how people feel about Civ 5.
They have mixed feelings.
Yeah. There's not overall positive reviews.
Soren Johnson also hosts a podcast called Designer Notes, where he interviews other game designers about their craft.
Oh, why didn't we do that?
Which is highly recommended. Well, we don't have like personal access to famous game designers. Like,
to this day, ever since we started recording this podcast, I have been upset that we didn't do this back when we were knee-deep in the convention circuits, as it were.
Yeah.
When we had access to, like, popular voice actors who come and, like, guest to do it. Because,
they can't be that popular if they came to Perth.
That's true. But Cara Edwards and Carl Herber.
Oh, you took them to meet a wallaby or something.
I did. I was very good friends with them while they were here. I'm sure they would never remember me now, though.
Oh, they're like our leading 2 subscribers.
Yeah, but it's under aliases, so don't mention it.
Yeah.
But no, they came and they were part of the local convention circuit here, and they are quite popular voice actors. Not up to the higher echelons, but they do quite a lot of stuff. Carl Herber, both of them do voices on Dragon Ball Z, and Carl Herber is the main voice actor for Ryu, if you didn't know that.
I have Japanese voices on my stream.
Oh, because you're a weeb.
When it comes to voice acting, yeah. American voice acting sucks.
Except for Cowboy Bebop, in which is widely held that the English voice actors are superior to the Japanese voice actors.
Well, I wouldn't know. I only listen to the sub.
Sub only. Dubs, get out of here.
Yeah.
But no, I had access to them, and they would have been so fine with being on a podcast because they were so nice.
They were so nice.
And it just, we weren't doing this back then.
No.
And now we're out of the convention circuit, and regrets aplenty.
Yeah.
But anyway, what were you talking about?
I was just letting people know that this game, Off-World Trading Company, is now available on Steam. It's been in early access for like a year or something, and it's been through a lot of different versions.
Were you part of the early access?
No, I don't go in for early access, but I've been following the chat.
It's been a real creeper on that chat.
Yeah. Well, I only have a certain amount of time for video games, and I refuse to pay for early access games.
Alright. I'll be sure to let every Minecraft player out there let you know, be aware of that.
The other thing that got released on Steam.
Well, you haven't even told me what this game's about. Off-World Trading. You said it's a real-time strategy. That was as far as you got before I interrupted you, Russell. So come on, lift your game. What's it about?
Okay.
Paint me a word picture.
It is described as an economic RTS. In the same way that games like Dota and LoL took the traditional RTS and stripped out all of the macro, like the economy and stuff, and just focused on the micro, controlling your characters. The Off-World Trading Company has gone the complete opposite direction.
There's no fighting whatsoever.
No, there's no military. You're trying to crush your rivals through the economy.
Can you invest in military spending, though, as part of the economy? Because it is a large part of the economy.
Only in as much as you can invest in things that will gain value and earn you more money. You don't actually get to deploy artillery or soldiers or anything.
Taking like America, for example,
Yeah.
One of the enormous powerhouses of their economy is military funding.
You might have missed the word off-world in
Well,
off-world.
there can be
It's
off-world
science fiction.
There's
on a new
armies
planet.
and governments in science fiction, Russell.
Okay.
I'm just asking
Take
if you
it up
can
with
invest
science
in military spending.
I believe you can.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Asked and answered.
You throw me off now.
Okay. So, strip down, bear down. Nothing opposite of Dota.
Yes. Taking out all the micro. You don't control units. You control the economic side of the RTS. You build your factories and whatever and try and create as much resources as you can and then use them to crush your rivals.
Well, how do you do that though? How do you crush them? Like drive them out of the market and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, like if they are building a strategy relying on, getting enough oil or whatever, you might try and buy up all the oil to drive up the price. So they can afford to run their factories. And then when their stock price falls, you can buy them out.
Is this you versus other people or you versus AI?
You can choose.
Okay, well it's like, is it largely a multiplayer?
Yeah,
or
it's
is
designed around multiplayer.
Okay.
There is a campaign mode, but the intention is for it to be played competitively.
Is it a good idea to diversify in this game, or do you get like punished for taking a little bit of everything?
Yeah, they've been through a few different versions, and I was listening to Soren on a podcast explaining how they sort of ended up where they are, because there was one version where it highly rewarded you for focusing on one thing, and it just ended up with everybody just building one thing, which wasn't so much fun. So now they reward you for
Diversification.
Yeah.
Not often I get to use the word diversification. It's a good word. Scrabble word. Have you been
too long to be a Scrabble word?
Look, if you can get diversif and then add a cation on the end of it.
But you would never have either of those words because they're not words on their own.
Russell, I feel like you're just looking for problems in this.
I feel like I should challenge you to a game of Scrabble and crush you.
I am terrible. I am god awful at Scrabble.
Is Layla good at Scrabble?
Layla's actually, my girlfriend, Layla, is actually remarkably good at Scrabble. We played.
Are you sure you don't just think that because you're so bad?
Well, yeah, maybe. Played a game with our good friends Tim and Cara. Tim, previously of this podcast. We played some Scrabble.
Of this parish.
Yes. We played some Scrabble with them. And I came dead last. And Layla came quite first.
Okay.
So I'm no good at, what do we call it? Like an anagram? Like rearranging letters to make new words. It's just not my forte. And I am accepting of my limitations, Russell. And I don't particularly care to put the effort in to make myself good at that useless talent.
Like remembering words.
I have quite a large vocabulary. It's just I can't rearrange letters to create new words. It's a failing of mine.
Like diversification.
Yeah, I'm not diversified in regards to rearranging letters.
No.
Which doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to roll with it.
All right. The other thing that has been released on...
Well, have you been playing a lot of this other game though?
No, I haven't. Only played like a little bit of it.
Okay, but you're having fun?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's good.
Thumbs up alerting
for
people that it is available, because I feel like Steam doesn't... When a game comes on early access, there's generally a big fanfare when it first gets released.
Mm-hmm.
But then when the actual game is finished...
Everybody's like, no, I'm done with that.
Like, yeah. And Steam doesn't make a big thing about it.
Mm-hmm. Is this like something that was greenlit? Steam greenlight?
I don't know that it was greenlit. And I don't think it was Kickstarted. Maybe it was.
We may never know.
We may never know.
The smallest amount of research would have paid dividends here.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, I keep cutting you off about this other game because I have a question about this one.
Yeah, well, this one I have played more of is the new level for the Hitman game.
Yes.
Which is being released episodically.
Mm-hmm.
And each episode, as it were, is a new mission in a new level.
Mm-hmm.
This one is set in an Italian seaside town called Sapienza.
Oh, it sounds very beautiful.
It is very beautiful. So it would be a nice place to go on holiday if there wasn't a bold maniac running around killing people.
Now, I have a question.
Yes.
Is it just more of the same? Or have they given you like more tools and like different ways of doing things? Or is it just sort of like the same ways of killing people in a new location?
Depends what you mean. I mean, you can still shoot people or garrote them.
Yeah, I'm basically asking if they've added more features to the game in this second episode.
Well, the levels are so expansive and detailed, and this one far more so than the first level in Paris. Like, people were complaining about how limited the Paris level was. I thought it was pretty good, but this one is like 3 or 4 Paris levels stapled together, and there's so much stuff to do.
By the time they get to the end of this, it's just going to be the entire world, and you can go and do what you want.
It's crazily huge. So the basic setup is that you have been assigned to assassinate this guy who is a biochemist or something like that. Mm-hmm. He's creating a virus that can target people by their DNA.
He could target all of the hit people.
He could, or like...
Because I'm pretty sure they're
genetically out of business. Because
I'm pretty sure the hit people are genetically modified, which is what I'm going for there.
Yeah, that makes sense. But you're there to assassinate him, and he is kind of an odd sort of character. He had a mental breakdown, and he refuses to leave his lavishly appointed estate. And he has a lab underground where the company that employs him has set him up to develop this virus. And
I feel like a lot of scientists aren't living in expansive mansions.
Well, I don't exactly know his background, but presumably his family was wealthy or something.
Or the company is funding the estate for him to work in.
Yeah,
that'd be the other.
Could be. But it's huge. You start in like the town outside, and as well as there being his big estate and the underground complex, there's also like a ruined castle and a sewer system. And the town that you start in, you can like go into lots of different shops and like knock people out and take their clothes.
How does any of that have any effect on what happens at the mansion?
Wow, there's lots of... Because the first trick is getting into the mansion.
Yes. I'm assuming you can't just walk up to the gate, shoot dudes and walk in.
Well, you could, but like loads more dudes would run out to shoot you. And things would rapidly become very difficult.
Spiral out of control, yeah.
So you have to try and sneak in. And there's lots of different ways to do that. Like, you walk down the street and you overhear this woman yelling up at a window in an apartment.
It's like, how dare you cheat on me?
No, she's saying, come on, you're going to be late for your first day of work. She's talking to her brother. And if you want to, which I did, you can sneak up there and break into the apartment and steal the guy's uniform. and then walk in
Turns out he's first day on the job is the lab assistant. You go straight to the guy and you shoot him in the face.
Well, no, he's going to work in the kitchen.
Okay.
So you can get into the kitchen. But then from the kitchen, you can do all sorts of other stuff. Another way in is there's a delivery man who's delivering some flowers. And if you knock him out and take his uniform and flowers, you can go in the front gate to deliver I feel like I've said flowers a lot of times.
Flowers,
the bouquet.
Bouquet.
There's also a psychiatrist who's talking on the phone about going in for a therapy session with the guy because he's had a mental breakdown. And I haven't quite worked out how to yet, but I assume that you can also take him out and go in as
What's always confused me about these games is you never have the option of just knocking out, or like maybe you do. It seems like the easiest way of going about it would be to just knock out one of the guards, put the guard's outfit on, because the guards have access to everywhere.
Oh, you can certainly do that, but there will be other characters, like the chief of the guards will know what all the other guards look like, and the guy will often know what his bodyguards look like. And so if they see you, even if you're in the uniform, they'll go, I never had a giant bald bodyguard with a barcode tattooed on his head. What is this?
I feel like that would have come up in the interview.
Yeah. So you have the physical and mental performance of a genetically engineered super assassin, but can you explain this barcode on your head?
What is religious reasons? All right, you're hired.
Yeah, you're hired.
I feel like you're gonna hire a bodyguard, a superhuman, genetically modified dude, would be pretty good.
Yeah,
it'd be easy to get employed.
But yeah, the mission seems to be very good. I haven't killed the targets yet. There's multiple targets in this one. There's also like another scientist who's working on the virus and could conceivably carry on his work, so you have to take her out too.
But there's no new tools given to you. Like you don't have a new arsenal or new now you have taser marbles that you throw at people and they tase them.
The tools are peculiar to the levels.
I mean particular?
I know I mean peculiar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's just a weird way of saying.
Like in this one, I've seen this on the video, I haven't done it myself, but if you go over to the ruined castle, there's like a antique cannon there, and like the guy will go out into his back lawn to play golf, and if you wait until the right time and you load and fire the cannon at him, you can shoot him to death with a cannon.
That seems like it would be a 1 in a million shot.
Yeah. Well, it conveniently happens.
Has to be pointed directly where you need it to be.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the right distance.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
So there's things like that in the level. Like you only ever start with just usually your silenced pistol and your whatever disguise you have to start with. And then you pick up more tools as you go through the level.
I suppose what I'm really curious about is whether this, now that they've added this on, is it like a separate game to the first level, or do you log into the same menu and go into
No, it's the same. It's in the same game.
So I guess I'm just curious as to whether they're patching things as they go and fixing bugs in the first level with the second level coming out, and whether that's causing they've taken stuff out of the first level and put new stuff in because they're still patching and balancing it and all that sort of stuff.
There's definitely been patches for technical issues and stuff,
but not
that they've changed any of the content.
Okay, fair enough.
But possibly they have. They've definitely added new, I think I told you before about the contracts where you can just assign you to assassinate some random person.
Oh yeah, that was
in a certain way.
And other people can set up
yeah
assassinations to be taken down. Yeah.
But there's a daily challenge almost that comes out for those.
Is that released by ratings wise of people making things, or is it from the actual developers?
I think it's from the actual developers.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
they're really into it.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, so I don't know how many episodes there's going to be in total, but it seems like it's going to be a pretty good package when it's done.
If I had a penny, Russell.
For every time I say a good package?
No, for every time I've heard that. Anyway.
Okay.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're having fun with your game.
Yeah, I am.
Let's hope it doesn't do the Half-Life thing of episodic gameplay.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
Because
maybe the next episode will be Half-Life Episode 3, except you play as Agent 47.
I feel like he'd do alright if he was Gordon Freeman.
Yeah, probably.
Because if you just put him in the hazmat suit, I feel like he would do way better than some scientists do.
And nobody would be able to tell it wasn't Gordon Freeman.
Yeah, that's it. Is Gordon Freeman bald? No, he's not. No, he's not.
And he has a beard, I think.
He does. He has a goatee.
Yeah.
Does Agent 47... Does he ever, like, have wigs? Does he wear wigs?
Sometimes. You can get
some
pretty silly costumes.
It's a very specific look he's got.
Yeah.
And if he's trying to hide from people, a wig would be an excellent way of doing things.
Like, there's, in the first level, I've never got it, but there's all these, like, secrets that you just hear about.
Mm-hmm.
There's a vampire magician costume in, like, the attic of where the event is taking place that you're at in Paris. And if you go up and get the vampire magician costume, then everybody is suspicious of you all the time because you look so sus. You're like, why the hell is this guy dressed as a vampire magician? But if you do complete your objectives in this costume, there's like all these achievements you unlock.
I feel like vampires and magicians both dress pretty similarly. Like if you're a vampire, you could pass as a magician. Traditional vampire, that is.
Well, yeah. And traditional magician. That's a mouthful. It is.
Say that 6 times fast. Don't actually, because we got to move on.
We haven't got on that.
It's already quite late, seeing as how we went and watched Captain America before we started recording today.
Well, what have you been doing for fun?
I have not been doing a lot.
No.
Because I don't have the internet in this new house, which is a huge disappointment. And I would have thought I would have had so much time to do things. Yeah. But I'm still quite busy setting the house up and sorting all that out. And cleaning the old house for final inspection and all that sort of stuff. So I have not had a huge amount of time. But I've been doing my best to find new things. Because before I moved out of the old place and lost the internet, I went and tried to get a hold of as much stuff as I could to keep myself occupied while all this other stuff is going on. Because I knew I wasn't going to have the internet when I moved into this place. And so I downloaded this comic called Mouse Guard, which I don't know if you've ever heard of or not.
Nope.
But it is like this, it's almost episodic, actually, in the fact that it gets released quite sporadically whenever the guy decides to release it. And it is all about the concept is these mice have these secret sort of cities or towns or whatever, and they're sort of hidden away in like various places where other things can't find them. But they obviously have to trade with each other to like maintain their economy. They're anthropomorphized, obviously, these mice. And the Mouse Guard is like the group of individuals who like make sure the pathways between towns are safe and like solve like crimes and treason and all this sort of stuff. And they're just little tiny mice, and they just have like little tiny swords and daggers and stuff like that. So like any predator is just a huge deal. Yeah. Like they'll be like, they'll run across a snake, and it's like, holy fuck, it's a fucking snake. But at the same time, if they run across like a cat, it's like, fucking shit, it's a cat. Or a rat is like the fucking, oh my god, it's a rat. And it's like this huge deal. And there's all like conspiracies to like overthrow the Mouse Guard and like take over the towns and all this sort of stuff. And it's quite an interesting read. It's like a very unique perspective on things. Yeah. Because they'll just travel like a kilometer, and to them it's like this huge journey that they've undertaken. It's like, oh my god, are we ever going to get there alive? But obviously from our perspective, it'd be just like, I'll just walk over there. Yeah. So,
does anyone ever get caught in a mousetrap?
It has not happened yet. Yeah. There's been no human evidence of humans as of this point.
It would be quite traumatic, I imagine, if one of your beloved characters like gets its spine broken by a big
mice die quite frequently. You know, this is not like it looks like it's for kids. Just if you just looked at the cover, it'd just be like, oh, it's a cool mouse with a sword. Yeah. But no, shit gets fucked a lot.
Oh my god, what is that hawk doing to him?
I haven't read a huge amount of it. I'm still like, it goes from like, it does seasons. So it's like fall and winter and spring and autumn, whatever the fucking phrasing of it is. And then there's like various sub things where it's like the rise of the Black Axe and all that sort of stuff. So it's pretty good. I haven't read all of it yet, but it's pretty interesting.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. The other thing I've really had time to do is watch Daredevil for the Force review.
Oh yeah,
it's taken up a large chunk of my free time, what little of it I've had, and
not that large a chunk though.
Not that large chunk. We'll get to that. Massive foreboding for those who listened to last week's podcast.
Yeah.
And with my girlfriend was largely interested in watching the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, okay.
Season 2.
Yeah. I may have heard of it.
You may have heard of it. So we watched that, all of that, because that's like half an hour episode, so it's really easy to just plow through them in one sitting. Whereas like Daredevil is like an hour for every episode.
Yeah.
It's so long.
And it never has the Kimmy Schmidt theme song in it. So
no, it doesn't. It's a less catchy
What's the
theme
point?
song. Daredevil theme song is just like dun dun dun
Yeah.
dun, dun. It's not catchy whatsoever. I skip over it almost every time.
Yeah, me too. They're both in New York though. I feel like they could have been a Netflix
I would
crossover.
love it if there was a crossover. It's like Kimmy Schmidt gets lost and ends up in Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, we'll talk about Daredevil later. I have things to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
But Kimmy Schmidt is... I feel it wasn't as good as the first season. The first season was a lot of her, like, oh my god, what is that thing? How does this work?
Yeah,
what is a phone?
Like that fish out of water kind of stuff.
Yeah, but now she's like settled in, and now it's all about like the trauma of like the stuff. It's like getting a little darker.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, she is distrustful of men and can't be touched by men because she'll like knock them out and like put them in a chokehold and stuff. It's like, don't you touch me!
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And it's like all about therapists and like people trying to like save an Indian reservation and stuff like that.
It does give them a chance to introduce the quite entertaining character of Tina Fey, Audrey.
Yes. And I lied last week when I said that Tina Fey had already been in it. The woman I was thinking of is the one from Parks and Recreation. Like, Tina Fey is quite often a cohort, the small blonde woman. Amy Poehler, yes. Yeah. Amy Poehler was in the first season, not the second season. So, retraction there. I was being an idiot with names as per usual. But yes, Tina Fey's character is the highlight of the entire season.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she's the best. She's so funny.
Yeah, she's pretty funny.
It's like the whole twin personalities.
Yeah,
the day and night. I forget her actual name in the show. Audrey. Day and night Audrey. Yeah. For those paying attention at home who haven't seen the show, apologies for the spoilers. But it's this therapist who is sort of compartmentalizing. I can't say big words tonight. Has two separate personalities because like when she's drunk at night, that's how she deals with like all of her crippling emotional issues.
Yeah.
And during the day, she is like this legit
decorated psychotherapist.
Yes. So yes, and we initially see her as this horrendously drunk woman who throws up in a cab and is like gives Kimmy Schmidt horrible advice.
Yeah.
And all that sort of stuff. But then it's like a really good. It's just an interesting dynamic of like you never know whether what you're seeing is like this high functioning alcoholic or like this complete drunkard.
Yeah.
So it was good because every now and then you'd see Kimmy Schmidt talking to her and she'd be like and then Kimmy would be like, you're drunk, aren't you? She's like, wah.
Yeah, she was very funny.
She was funnier than Kimmy Schmidt or the actress who plays her. I have no idea what her name is.
Ellie Kemper.
Yes. Who's real pigeonholed in like that ditzy sort of idiotic character.
Well, that's her character.
Yes, but she was the same character in The Office, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think did you ever watch?
I haven't seen the US one.
Okay, yeah, she's basically the same character.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't understand what's going on.
Well, my personal highlight of the season was she was only in like 2 episodes, I think, but Deirdre Robespierre.
You've got an incredible memory for names.
Well, Robespierre is a historical figure from the French Revolution, which is why it's stuck in my head.
You're a fucking nerd.
Yeah. I fucking love it. But she was extremely hilarious every time she showed up.
I saw her coming up, and you mentioned her last week, and I was like, oh, look at that. And I paid attention to her, and she wasn't, I didn't find her that interesting as a character.
Yeah.
She was just like, megalo, I can't say big words. She was crazy, essentially.
Oh yeah, she was totally insane.
But that was her, she was a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
She
well,
was
it's
just
probably
like,
good that she was used sparingly.
yes. I didn't get that much enjoyment out of her.
Yeah, okay.
She was like, her obsession with like being defeated by this other woman who was clearly an intellectual inferior.
Yeah, that was the part I didn't buy because what's Jane Krakowski's character's name?
Fuck if I know. Yeah, I was got the wrong guy. What the character's name is.
Yeah, she's not that bright.
No, yeah, she's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But she does have some personal growth in the season.
Yes, that's true. And one of the characters from whatchamacallit, Arrested Development came in.
Oh yeah, David Cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was quite an interesting character in himself.
And what was his name?
I don't know, David Cross.
It was Russell.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, he was a fool and a buffoon.
He was a buffoon.
But yeah, so watch it, I guess, if you like.
Yeah, it gets a thumbs up from both of us.
Give it a look.
Yeah.
But watch the first season because I feel that is a better season.
And then watch second season. I mean, what else are you going to do with your time?
Yeah, I mean, who are you? What do you got? You busy?
Yeah.
Get off the couch.
If you got time to listen to us, you've got time to watch.
That's true. Stop listening to this.
Yeah.
Go watch Kimmy Schmidt.
Well, in the interest of brevity, shall we crack on to the forced review?
Russell, dare we release a podcast that is less than an hour long?
Oh God, I would love it.
For those at home who enjoy our current length of podcast, Russell is always pushing for a 45-minute podcast.
Well, no, I would like to be under an hour.
We've done a few under an hour.
Yeah,
but traditionally we hit an hour and 5 or an hour and 10.
Yeah, or an hour and 17.
Or an hour and 40. One time we did that.
It's too much. It's too much.
Even I admit that the hour and 45 podcast was a bit much.
Yeah.
But yeah, initially you wanted a 45-minute podcast.
Yeah.
That was the goal for you. But I don't like non-round numbers, so you're out of luck. But yes, if you want, we can push on to the force.
Well, we do have a spoiler cast to record.
We do have a spoiler cast to record. And it'll make me editing the podcast a bit easier.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's go on to force review. Forced review is traditionally the segment where one of us forces the other one to watch the entirety of a thing that they haven't seen, read, or played before. And Russell has been burnt last week when he asked me to watch season 2 of Daredevil.
Which I might point out was something that you were going to watch anyway.
Yeah, eventually. Just the
it's
worst.
not like, I want you to watch all the Boa vs. Python sequels.
I feel like it was the worst possible time to give it to me, though.
Well, yeah.
Because I was in the middle of moving house.
Yeah. I didn't know that you were moving to this internet wasteland.
Well, that should have worked in my favour. Because internet wasteland, what am I going to do? Go on the internet? No. Watch the fucking show. But it was just such a hectic time, even though I was not working.
Yeah.
That I only managed to finish watching season 1, of which I had only seen up to episode 6. So I had to watch the other 7 last week.
Back to back.
Back to back. It was a real marathon.
Yeah.
It was a real effort. It made me feel sad inside because it was very dim and dark. And
yeah.
Lots of people are terrible. And turns out that the week gone by, I was still moving. Still moving into this place, and I had to like clean out my old place. I am just buying time before I have to say that I did not finish watching Daredevil season 2.
How far did you get?
I got up to episode 6. So
just under halfway.
Just under halfway, yes. So apologies for that. We can either move on from this, or dare we take it to a third week? That's something we will discuss at the end of this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can milk much more entertainment out of watching 7 more episodes of the same show. But you have no idea what I've seen and what I haven't seen. So...
Well, I kind of remember what happened at the start, and then at some point in the middle, certain things happened, and that's the part I'm not too sure about. The stuff at the end, I know you haven't got to.
Yes,
but the middle stuff, I'm not sure.
Well, I'm done with the main Punisher arc, because that's like the first 3 episodes or so. 3 or 4 episodes.
I think it was first 4.
First 4. So we can talk about that.
Yeah.
And, well, why don't we get your opinion of it first, of the Punisher arc? What did you think of it?
Okay. I liked the Punisher.
Mm-hmm. He's getting his own Netflix series.
Is he?
Yeah.
You sure?
The same actor, yeah. I'm quite positive.
Okay.
I've seen it from several different sources.
Okay. I shall trust you. I think John Bernthal was good in the role.
Yes,
and
he was very Frank Castle-y.
He provided a good counterpoint to Daredevil, who has doubled down on the "no, I can never kill anybody."
I shall never kill a man.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed their rooftop confrontation.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you can call it a confrontation when one of them's chained to a chimney.
Oh yeah, it was like an
It was a rooftop chat.
Ideological confrontation.
Fair enough.
The debate, if you will, about whether or not to kill this guy who is a no good scumbag criminal.
Yes. Does he have any chance of redemption? Basically, was the question.
Yeah.
And spoilers as it may be, he did not, because he got shot and died.
So obviously the Punisher was in favor of killing him, and Daredevil was in favor of sparing him.
Correct.
And putting him behind bars, presumably.
Yeah. I feel like Daredevil, to my knowledge, doesn't... I'm not an enormous Daredevil fan. To my knowledge, doesn't kill in the comic book side.
Well, aside from all the people that he like elbows in the head and then throws down a stairs.
Yeah, I feel like he's at least superfluously crippled someone.
Yeah.
Let alone, he's probably killed the guy.
He's probably killed
through like later medical complications.
Yeah. Internal bleeding, broken ribs, collapsed lungs,
snapped spine.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. He's probably at least driven somebody to suicide by this point.
Yeah, probably. Good job, Daredevil.
Yeah, way to be a dick. I have how to phrase this. I have some issues with the way they handled the Punisher as a character.
Well, you have a lot of like preconceptions.
I do have a lot of preconceptions,
which I didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
I was going in pretty open-minded on the Punisher.
Pretty virgined. But yes, the thing... Well, it's something that even got brought up in... It's something that even got brought up in the show itself, is that he's sort of like a one-man war on crime.
Yeah.
You know, whenever he sees injustice, or what he considers injustice, he'll just fucking kill that person.
Yeah.
You know, specifically... the one outside of the main story arc of what he's fighting crime for is that he goes to buy a police scanner.
Yeah.
And then the guy, he's like, buys a shotgun off the guy and all that sort of stuff. And then as Frank Castle's walking out, the guy's like trying to peddle him some under-the-counter porn.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you like little girls? I got little girls. And then Frank Castle kills the guy.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, that's just not right in his mind. And this is going to be spoilers, but...
Well, I feel like it's all been spoilers so far.
Spoilers, fair enough. I didn't like the way he got taken down, quotation marks. You know, the way he gave up. You know, the fact that he gave up fighting crime when he achieved his goal at the end of it. Because that's not really how Frank Castle works. You know,
you have to refresh my memory. From what I remember, he was badly injured.
Okay, basically what happened was he let himself be captured by the Irish.
Yeah.
So that he could get close to the boss.
The boss guy, yeah.
To ask him why he killed his family, in the crossfire, as it was. And then to kill him.
Yeah.
And then they tortured him and he broke free and shot the guy in the face with a shotgun.
Yeah.
After the guy refused to answer why he killed his family. He was like, who cares? Oh, shotgun to the face. But then after that, Daredevil rescues him as well because I'm not sure why he rescued him. I can't remember. It was never really made specifically clear. It probably was, and I just wasn't paying attention. He needed to find Frank Castle for some reason. I can't remember why. And then he Daredevil gets Punisher out of there.
Yeah.
And they go to a graveyard.
Yeah.
And he's horribly injured. And then Frank Castle just goes, you know what? I'm done. I'm good. I'm good here. I'm done fighting crime. Just whatever. Let things come as they may. And that's just in such stark contrast to the Punisher character, who initially takes up fighting crime to stop the people who killed his family, ordered the hit on him because he used to be in special forces against he used to be a guy who fight crime in the special police forces, all that sort of stuff, military and all that sort of stuff. So he there was a hit put out on his family. It's a whole thing. And he initially goes into fighting crime because his family's dead and he wants vengeance.
Yeah.
He wants to punish those that did the wrong thing. But after he gets vengeance for his family, he then just goes all these other people are having a real shit of a time with these guys, and these guys just fucking other families up. So he just goes on and just takes out all the crime he can come across.
Right.
That's sort of his jam.
Yeah.
That's his bread and butter. And he was like, you know what? I've taken care of the people who killed my family. I'm good. I'm done here. Let's move on. I'll go to jail now.
Okay.
And I haven't seen the end of that storyline because at the current moment he's in hospital being represented by
Nelson and Murdoch.
Nelson and Murdoch.
Yeah.
And maybe there's something like that. And like I said, the guy has his own series now with Netflix, whether that's a continuation from the Daredevil thing or it's about the crimes he committed before he came into the world of the Daredevil show. I don't know. Haven't really looked into it. But yeah, I don't know. He just seemed to give up like a little bitch, which didn't really sort of gel in my mind with the Frank Castle I know and love.
Fair enough. It's a bit sort of blended in with the later stuff, but I feel like at that point, I thought he was I'm ready to die. I've been so badly injured, but I got done what I had to do.
I mean,
so you just let me die.
I think
they were in a graveyard, so
maybe that was the thematic part of it, but he didn't die.
No.
And as far as I know, the worst injury he sustained was a drill bit to the foot. Maybe there was other things implied happened to him, and he got beat up a fair bit.
Yeah.
So he probably had some internal bleeding and all that sort of stuff. But the worst thing that was shown was the drill through the foot, which way worse things happened to him in the comic books, and he just keeps on trucking. He just puts a band-aid on it and keeps kicking ass.
Yeah.
So maybe it was implied more that more bad things happened to him, maybe got drilled elsewhere, or whatever. But we see him get a drill through the foot, and then it cuts away, and the next time it cuts back, the guy's still holding the drill. So it gives the impression that not much else had happened other than that. But yeah, I don't know. It just didn't. Obviously, they were just trying to get him out of the picture because they wanted to focus back on Daredevil and the next so on and so forth. But it just felt a bit cheap, like a bit of a cop out to me.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Russell always with the controversial opinions.
I'm not going to argue against you on that point, because I think there was quite a lot of problems with the story.
With the dynamic between the two?
Not so much that, but yeah, certain parts of the Punisher's story in the show didn't quite sit right. Stuff that hasn't been revealed to you yet.
Okay, fair enough.
Comes up later.
I can't comment on that, obviously.
But one thing you might be able to comment on is another character who was introduced in season 2.
Elektra.
Yeah.
Is introduced. Now, you have nothing on Elektra.
I know that in the movie, it was Jennifer Garner and she had size like Raphael.
Yes, correct. That is Elektra's weapon of choice.
Yeah.
Is her size.
Yeah. I really wish some of these people would just use guns like the Punisher. Far more effective.
Yeah.
Anyway, Elektra.
Now, what did you think about Elektra? I'm obviously like smack in the middle of the Elektra storyline, so I can't really say anything about the conclusion to it.
I didn't like the conclusion to it, I can tell you that.
Fair enough.
What
about the character herself?
I liked the character. She was kind of an exotic femme fatale with ninja training.
Yes.
Who has been in Matt's life previously and caused him no end of trouble. But also he clearly has strong feelings for her, or has had in the past. So I think that was quite interesting. I didn't like that she brought a whole bunch of ninjas with her. Like, not with her in the story, but her storyline comes along with a bunch of ninjas.
Involved the Yakuza, yeah.
Who are the most boring bad guys possible.
Really? Why do you say that?
Well, all they do is they show up in dead silence with masks over their faces.
They had helmets on, motorcycle helmets on.
Yeah. And they punch and kick Daredevil. And he punches and kicks them, which is great, and I love a good fight scene.
You just described every fight scene in the entirety of the Daredevil show.
No, but when he's fighting a character with more... something interesting about them.
I suppose the fight between Punisher and Daredevil on the rooftop when like the police snipers are trying to shoot him and stuff
that was
like
great.
That was very dynamic and interesting, because Punisher kept trying to like pull out weapons and shoot him, and Daredevil kept kicking him away, and he was like, oh, I'm running out of guns. Daredevil's like, I'm running out of kicks.
And I felt a lot more invested in that fight scene, because you know what these characters stand for. Whereas with the ninjas, you're like, this guy's just a mindless ninja. I
guess so. I mean, the ones I saw, which is when they rock up to her apartment and she reveals that she knows who Matt's alternate identity is, Daredevil. Yeah. She knows he's Daredevil. And they have the fight scene. They at least attempted to make them have individual characteristics. I don't know about the future ones that show up, if any. But
so many ninjas.
So many ninjas. The first group of 4 that show up have like visual identities, I guess. I agree with you that they're fucking useless and they just get beaten up and then that's the end of it.
Yeah.
But there's like the chick, and then there's like the like bald Asian guy, and there's like the handsome Asian guy, and there's a guy with the white hair and all that. They all have different weapons and stuff like that. But if they'd gone further down that path, maybe it would be more interesting. But I'm assuming that eventually there's just generic Yakuza ninjas.
Yeah, later on it's just like guys with ski masks on. Ninja outfits, presumably, so it can be the same 2 stuntmen over and over again.
Yes, but I would assume so.
Yeah,
but Elektra has these ties to the Hand, which are these this ninja clan that is ironically for listeners who might be curious about this, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were a parody of Daredevil when they first came out. They were parodying Daredevil, which is why they're ninjas. He's, Daredevil. And that's why the Turtles have an enemy called the Foot.
Yeah.
Whereas, because Daredevil had an enemy called the Hand.
I actually knew that.
Did you actually know that? Well done.
It's like my one bit of comic book trivia.
And I took it out from underneath you.
You did.
But yes, for those who didn't know, there you go. Now you know that. But yeah, so I'm assuming that the Hand eventually show up with Elektra in tow, because he's like, oh, the Yakuza, the ninjas. And they're like, okay, well, clearly this is going to evolve into them being the hand.
Yeah, basically.
You know. But Elektra eventually rules the hand. You know, the clan. You know, she takes over the clan. But I don't know
in the comics?
In the comics, yes.
Okay.
I don't know if that comes up in the show or not. Probably not.
Well, what did you think of show Elektra, and how was that affected by your...
I have yet to see her have size. I don't know if she does in the show. I'm assuming she eventually pulls some out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know a huge amount about Elektra. Again, it's a real... I don't know everything about every Marvel character ever. Well, I know a little bit. About pretty much every Marvel character ever.
What can you tell me about Yellow Jacket?
I can tell you a lot about Yellow Jacket if you actually are curious about it.
Well, we'll save it for the Civil War bit.
Okay. But yes, Elektra is like this super ninja sort of style, and she has these size, and her enemies are the foot. The hand. Confusing myself here. And yeah, she's like part of a crime boss family sort of thing. She's the daughter of, and it's all about so on and such forth. I'm not going to go any further into it because I don't know what is shown in the show, so I don't really have a point of comparison. But I feel that she is as interesting a character as the Punisher was. Mm-hmm. I feel like she's got a personality. You know, she's not just a blank slate for Daredevil to work around. And it's a hugely different dynamic between Elektra and Daredevil and the Punisher and Daredevil, even though both of them are quite willing to kill people.
And, I mean, you are always expecting the Punisher and Daredevil to just start making out at any time.
I really wanted them to be like a team. I knew it wasn't going to happen. I knew it wasn't because they have such differing viewpoints. And Punisher very rarely gets along with anybody.
Well, yeah, he's kind of a dick.
Yes. He doesn't even really get along with Deadpool, who's quite happy to kill people. Because he considers him to be like, doesn't take things seriously. He's a fucking idiot. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about right now. I think that Elektra and the Punisher would have got along great.
Yeah, probably.
And the Punisher was pretty much a physical match for Daredevil, combat-wise. So if she'd come along like a couple of weeks earlier, this could have gone in an entirely different direction.
Could have. You should watch the rest of it.
I am going to watch the rest of it, but I feel like...
Not necessarily under duress, but, you know.
Yes, I feel like...
Get around to it eventually.
I feel like... I will try and finish it the next week, but I feel like we should move on, forced review style, to something else, because I feel like this is just going to be too much if we add another week
We could add, like, a new segment.
Alan talks about... Alan talks about Daredevil.
The Daredevil segment.
I will watch an episode a week and we shall have a chat.
I watched another 12 minutes of Daredevil this week.
There is a couple of podcasts that do that, where they just talk about the shows that came out that week.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel that neither of us have the sort of commitment levels required to watch those shows.
Well, or to talk about one episode of a show for an hour.
That's true. Well, I would assume that if we did it, we would, like, talk about, like, a series of shows. Like, we talk about Game of Thrones, and we talk about Daredevil, we talk about Walking Dead.
Game of Thrones came out this week.
We're not talking about it because I haven't watched it.
And also, I finished watching the latest season of Walking Dead.
Oh, there you go. If only I watched them, Russell, we could have a delightful conversation.
About them.
I will add this as, like, an after effect. Obviously, watch Daredevil. It's a very good show. If only for the fight scenes, which are amazing. Well choreographed. That the bit of news that I forgot to talk about in the main podcast was that the Wheel of Time has been announced that it's getting its own TV series.
Hooray!
Have you heard about that? Do you care about that at all? There's a very blasé hooray. You're like, whoop-de-fucking-do.
Complicated opinions about the Wheel of Time. We'll have to have Gab back on at some point.
Once it comes out, we have to have Gab back on.
Yeah.
Who is an obsessive fan about it.
Yeah.
He's going to hate it. Because it's not going to be exactly the books. And he's going to fucking hate it. But yeah, that was the only other bit of news that I was going to talk about. Was the Wheel of Time TV series.
I should go back and finish the books. Now that there's actually...
I read the first one. And it didn't make a whole bunch of sense.
Well, if you didn't like the first one, it's all downhill from there.
We're not going to get into that. Because either I wasn't paying close enough attention. Or the end of the book just made no fucking sense. But yes. So, Well, we've hit approximately an hour, so edited down, this may actually be under an hour if we cut it short, if we finish it now. Otherwise, I'm seriously tempted to edit this so it's like an hour and 1 second. If I can manage that, I'll be very, very pleased.
Well, you only get like 55 minutes of usable stuff out, but then you just put a fart sound effect for 5 minutes and 1
pretty
second
much.
on the end.
Just cut your voice into like saying Alan is the best. Yeah. But yeah, so as we have another entire hour's worth of content to record after this, if you've enjoyed this, you can go to our website, at which Russell does very funny blog posts. I don't know where you get all those links, because I had to do the blog post for a while and I could not be fucked doing what you do. Find very relevant and humorous links to the stuff we've talked about today. And you can go there at popculturepond.weebly.com, and you can email us at any time. Again, the option of our viewers or listeners, whatever you want to call them, probably listeners, emailing us a forced review for the both of us that we can do instead of this back and forth.
Hang on.
I also haven't given you a forced review that I've just realised.
Yeah. And I was going to say,
okay.
Do you want to give me something? Because it has been a while.
It has been a while.
Or we did have one suggested to us.
This is we've really shit showed the end of this up, Russell.
Yeah.
All right. We did have one suggested to us.
You can post.
I won't. Too much bother to be doing with that. I think we should just do the one that we've both been given.
Yeah.
Like, test the waters. See how that's like.
Okay.
We can both
watch it together?
I mean, we can do.
But not tonight.
Not tonight.
Okay.
Which was Bridge to Terabithia.
Yeah.
Which is a friend of ours.
Incredibly depressing children's
I've
film.
heard horrible things.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it though. Yeah, right. So yeah, we'll do that. And you can email us with suggestions of what we can do as a forced review or about anything else at popculturepond@gmail.com.
You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/popculturepond. And you can find us on Twitter at twitter.com/Kanye West.
I thought you had a feud with him. You're giving him free traffic now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not. Nobody follows us.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Maybe.
If my Let's Play becomes super popular,
Yeah.
which is underneath the Pop Culture Pod name.
It is.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It'll just be me tweeting about Final Fantasy. Alright.
Episode 382 is up.
I don't know how I'm going to do it, because currently it's Final Fantasy, the playthrough. Episode 2 currently, but I've got about 5 uploaded. But I'm assuming when it gets to finish that game and start the new one, it's going to be Final Fantasy 2, Episode 1. So, unless I really take my time, I don't think I'm going to get 300 plus hours out of the games. The games.
We hope not.
Well, we can only hope. So if you've enjoyed this, you can feel free to come on back next week for another episode of Pop Culture Pontification. Or, alternatively, come back in 2 days for the spoiler cast of Captain America Civil War.
Yeah, on Wednesday.
On Wednesday. And by Wednesday, I mean Thursday. I've been awake. I've been awake for a very long time.
What time did you get up?
I get up for work at like 4:30 in the morning.
Okay. I was up at like 9 o'clock. I had a bit of a headache.
Okay, no, that's it. Yeah. All right.